All right, Friday recap. Uh, Interesting way to end off the week. Would you look at AM session being ass and PM session getting some big Drake candles and, some actually good entries? Uh, Let me go over it real quick. So going into the morning, we are bullish, right? Trending up at these highs and these highs and these highs. And ES has highs higher too. Um, So what are we? We are bullish, right? Let me just mark out this real quick. So longs, right? We have 9:45 red folder news and then orange folder at 10 a.m. So a little bit of a weird day, but let's see what we get. As you can see, pretty bad price action. Let me get over here. Okay. So, all right, 9:30 opens. We don't sleep as high as an SMT up there, right? And we go lower here, whatever. Sorry, I'm like sitting on my bed. I might have to go like a down angle like this. Okay. So yeah, we get SMT right here with this high, and then NQ dumps. ES doesn't do shit. And then we reverse, and then NQ sweeps at the high. ES doesn't sweep anymore out. And then we get this dump right here. Um, Looking back at it, this was not a bad read necessarily. Um, if we're looking at this from the 5 minute, right? We swept out the high, we inverse the 5 minute right here, and it's a 5 minute gap tap. If you want to take a read here to the lows, could take something like this. Hold on. Stop doing some weird shit. Yeah, you could have done something like this. Only reason why I didn't take a read here was because obviously we do some freaky shit sometimes, right? And um ES was kind of in a spot where we could reject. ES didn't really trying to find where we were here. Yeah, ES was still like coming into some gaps here, and ES is a more bullish pair, right? So if you're taking shorts, obviously take an NQ, but we are more bearish. I'm starting to trying to see that like I'm trying to get both the assets to correlate like perfectly, and that's just not gonna happen that often, and I'm realizing that. So if we get a good model on, NQ or something and we are bearish, I think I'm gonna notice it, like obviously right here we're in a 5 minute gap, right, where I'm taking the read at on NQ, but there's nothing on, I mean on ES, but there's nothing on NQ. So I think that if we have the stronger pair right here, which we're bearish, and this is clean, then not who gives a shit, but like we're probably gonna follow the more stronger pair. So yeah, I don't know if that made any sense. Probably didn't, but you take a limit order right here, stops up here, so I can get for value gap to reject and take it to these lows. Probably take it to this low, to be honest. And yeah, that's a good trade. And then we start chopping and just chopping. Yeah, nice V shape. Now, this was not a bad trade in my opinion. This is Justin Werland's model or whatever. But we sweep out these lows, all these lows, and now we're inside of a high time frame for value gap. Still, we're in this hourly. So we sweep that and we get a V shape out of it. We get a change in the state of delivery right here. And so I believe what he does is he either ends up entering on a change in the state or with just a tap back into a fair value gap. This one, the 3 minute fair value gap, you'd expect to hold. So honestly, I like this just because of the S&T that we had here. Um, because we had an S&T and also the V shape and also the change in the state, it's showing us that we do in fact want to go higher. Um, so honestly, I don't mind this trade. Let's say I took it light size or something, like 100 risk or something, that would not be a bad trade. My targets would have been here, and I would have been a little bit mad just because it didn't hit. But obviously, NQ is the more bullish pair, so it will be hitting my target before Nasdaq does. So we hit it right here. 1 to 2 RR. Really not what I'm looking for. Honestly, I probably because these are high RR plays, so it's probably low risk. These are low risk entries. Um, but yeah, so yeah, from this, obviously we are kind of long bias still. We're just assuming this is a retracement, we're speaking on liquidity, manipulation, and then bullish. But just because of this really good V shape, this is very clear that we want to go up. We tap back into a for value gap, and then you read it higher. So I don't think that was a bad trade either. I was already off at this point just because market conditions were ass. But yeah. And then we retrace up here, we get this huge dump, and we don't take out these lows right here, right? Not on any of these. So what I'm looking for is a retracement to preferably like a 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute gap. We have a big 5 minute here, but what I was looking at, right, is the equilibrium of this range. So we went down here, right? So equilibrium would be right here. And if I look on the 3 minute, there's a big 3 minute gap here. So basically what I'm waiting for is for us to tap back into here and get displacement down and then sweep out the low, right? ES is the same exact thing up here. So basically looking for the same thing. And what ends up happening is we get this candle right here, which is way too far. I would say the most I would enter on is 21,990. This would be the highest entry, and we close down here. What I wanted us to do was I wanted us to either retrace up to about here, so I can actually take a somewhat reasonable entry, because if you did enter here, your stops had to been above this gap, obviously. And if you're taking to the lows, that is not even a 1 RR, you know? Even if you wanted to take it to a 1 RR, barely would have hit. So really, it was too much displacement. What I was looking for was a close around here. Stops would have been up here, right? And yeah, that's what I was looking for. But we didn't end up getting that. We just kind of shot all the way down, swept out that low, and then we displaced lower, which is perfect in my opinion. Um, so we displaced lower, displaced below this low in NQ, which is good, but then ES sweeps out a low. So looking on the 15 minute, right, we have the fact that we displaced low this low, we have all this low resistance liquidity. This is the final target that I expect us to reach. Um, we just want to make sure that after ES sweeps this low, we don't want to reverse because it is the more bullish pair. So after it sweeps that, it could shoot back up, with a V shape, whatever. This was a nice V shape, but we were just bearish at the time. So I basically wanted to see this low get displaced below. And this is like the most perfect candle down here, right? So we have targets lower, all that crap. And this is like a perfect entry. I saw this. I was passing periods during this, so I could not have taken this, but this would have been a trade that I personally would have taken. So my target was right here. Hold on. My target would have been this low, right? A couple ticks down because usually it does do that. And then 1.5 entry right here. Boom. Let's see if it actually hit equilibrium too. I'm starting to implement this a little more. Perfectly taps it. That is a beautiful trade in my opinion. Um, this giant gap right before this low, 9 times out of 10, this is going to hold. So over months, for me, months of experience that these gaps hold 9 times out of 10 before reaching the target. Only thing that would have maybe thrown me off was that it's happened to an unmitigated 4 hour, but then again, like I think I'm just being too picky with my setups because on NQ, the bearish model looks clean, right? I know ES tapped into a 4 hour bearish gap, which, yeah, sure, this could be the low of the day or whatever. But on NQ, we know where our target is. NQ, I think, is still going to deliver, even though we hit that 4 hour gap. So this gap should be trusted, in my opinion. And then yeah, we're just chopping at the low because we, hit the session target or whatever. But yeah, so this one I was actually about to trade this, but yeah, then again it just displaced too low for me. It didn't retrace. Um, so yeah. Um, but yeah, that was really all the entries. There was a 5 minute entry right here I could have taken. Um, I'm trying to remember why I wasn't confident on taking that because I did see it. I think honestly, it was just literally just the price action was kind of choppy, and I didn't really want to take anything in the chop, which is perfectly fine. I don't mind that whatsoever. But honestly, that's kind of what the draw reads were there for, so I can take trades during choppier conditions. Yeah, sure, it will take longer for my TP to be hit. Maybe not. Maybe I'll have to sit through choppy conditions, but my stop would be in a safe spot and I would just hold it until the draw is hit because 9 times out of 10, I am confident in my draw. Um, I think honestly the reason why was because ES displaced above this high right here. Actually, this is on the 5 minute, right? Yeah, ES displaced, and we kind of edged that high, and we have been bullish. So kind of, mm, you know, and we also swept this low inside this 1 minute gap. But then again, bro, like, yes, you should wait for everything to align, but you're like waiting for every single little thing to align perfectly with nothing in the way whatsoever. Like, that's like you're not gonna get 2 to 3 entries a week. You're gonna get maybe once every 2 weeks or something, maybe once a week if you're lucky, you know? So honestly, I think what I need to do is just build more conviction and have a convicted target and then execute on that, expecting this for Valley Gap to get displaced through. So I think that's what I should be focusing on for the future is having a confident draw and just looking for an entry to that draw. No matter if there's like obviously if there's a giant 15-minute gap and there's a huge leg of 15-minute gaps blocking your way to the bottom, I'm not gonna take that. But if there's a small 1 minute right here, there's no reason why this should stop us after the 5 minute inverse and we have a 5 minute bearish gap that should support us to go lower. So yeah. Maybe it was like something on ES. Maybe I wasn't confident because ES was like in a gap, maybe. I'm trying to think of why I wouldn't have taken this. Not sure to be honest. But yeah, so there was that entry, that 5 minute read entry. There was a reversal entry right here, low risk. There was a continuation trade right here. Is my model that I'm the best at, which displays too far for me to enter. And then there was this where I was passing periods and I could not take it, which was just a read to the lows, basically. So honestly, pretty unfortunate day. There was 4 entries I could have taken. Two of them I would have actually taken on my funded account, which would have been the 5 minute read, light size, and also this right here, that I could have taken. So, and this one I couldn't take. So really, the only one that I actually should have taken was the 5 minute read up here, where we inverse the five after sweeping the high, and you get a 5 minute gap to support us lower. But then again, like we have a 5 minute gap. I'd rather wait for us to come in than get a displacement from that. So I don't know, because my whole model is literally just like continuation is just like usually a 5 minute gap tap and then displacement from it. So I was just waiting for us to tap into it and then displace from it because I didn't like this little tap, you know? So Yeah. So there's some stuff to review on this day a little bit. But I'm not mad whatsoever. Like honestly, it's probably better not to trade these days. I'm just trying to get a little bit on my funded because I haven't traded since Tuesday of last week. So I want money, Like I have these accounts to make money on, and then as soon as I get those accounts, there's zero setups, like actually zero. Like the whole entire Discord, the ones that actually don't take retarded shit, no one has traded since last Tuesday or Wednesday. Like I don't know. Like I know sometimes that price isn't gonna give you an entry every single day. Sometimes you'll go weeks apparently without getting a good setup, which I personally have not seen. But yeah. Also, another thing to add is like, bro, low key, this looks like a nice V shape too off of this. Um, yeah, like up, sweep, chop, displace. Like it looks pretty clean. Like that's just a big V-shaped recovery. So, and like honestly, when you see all these V shapes, we go to those highs, you know? V shape, you go higher. V shape, you go lower, right? V shape, this one we don't go higher, but like low key stupid as shit to take this after all of that chop. Like if you did take this right here, this would have been your entry, right? Stops at the low, TP, at least to there, right? When we put in an SMT at this high right here, and like you've been in all this chop, like, dude, I'm out of the trade. So break even anyways. But still, looking at all these V shapes, like actually working out, it's just it's just looking at a V shape from a higher time frame, I guess. Like V, like as soon as you get that immediate displacement down, it's just like up and then down or down and then up. That's kind of the sign of the of reversal is happening type shit. So yeah, that's it for today. I think for the weekly recap, key things I should focus on is, 5 minute reads. And like if you're taking on the 5 minute, bro, like there's nothing stopping us on the 5 minute, right? Like literally just take the 5 minute read. If we're taking it on the 5 minute, right? You wait for a tap back here, stops here, TP, this low. Like just get an entry on the lower time frame, but like you really don't have to worry too much about this little 1 minute gap. We swept this tiny low and reverse off of it from this one tiny minute little gap. Like who gives a fuck? But yeah, I'll go more into that in the weekly recap, I think. But yeah, that's it for today.